Warning! Warning! The following video is intended for educational and entertainment use only. The content will include disturbing images, violent scenarios, and explicit language. This video is intended for 18 plus and older audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to this week's edition of Mob Talk. I'm Dave Stratweiser.
And I'm George Anastasia with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
George, this week we're going to talk about a murder down in South Philadelphia last week on Wolf Street, 17th and Wolf, which has the whole neighborhood and South Philadelphia buzzing.
Yeah, gangland-style slaying, but nobody knows where it came from.
George, by all accounts, this was a hit right in the guy's own backyard. Walk us through the circumstances down there.
Yeah, I mean, Rocco Maniscalco was at a neighborhood bar with some friends watching a Flyers game. Around 12:30, he decides to go home. He's only going to walk a block and a half to his house. And as he approaches his steps, a guy steps out of the shadows and opens fire. Shoots him multiple times. Clearly the guy was waiting for him, and he probably knew he was at the bar and was going to be going home. I mean, that's the way it looks. Why this happened, we don't know.
Shell casings all over the street down there, 12 to 15 shots, I'm told, from a 9mm, and then leaves the scene. The last description was a thin white guy getting into a dark SUV. This has all the trappings of what looks like a mob hit, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, I mean, the way it went down, it's clearly a gangland hit. You just don't know where it's coming from. And Rocco Maniscalco has got an interesting history. He's an entrepreneur. He had a tow truck company, auto body shop, very successful. He had investments in real estate, but he also had a history. He had a drug arrest, although not a conviction in his past, and he's involved in a business, towing and auto body repair work, that's always been kind of on the fringes. Always under scrutiny is a good way to put it, with insurance fraud and stuff. And then there's also at least speculation about bookmaking and loan sharking as well. So, and he's the nephew, I think, of the late Harry Riccobini, which adds a little bit of a mob veneer to all of this, although nobody is saying that Maniscalco was a wise guy. So there's probably as many potential motives as there were shell casings found at the scene.
And let's talk about this. This is right in front of his house. He has 4 children, some of whom were home and asleep, and his wife was in the bar right down the street when this happened. So whoever did this didn't really care about that, or maybe they did and they were sending a message. Yeah,
I mean, it's ugly to do something like that. It shows a total disrespect in the underworld to do something like that in a guy's house, literally in front of his family. Not unlike when Angelo Bruno got killed, if you remember. He's killed right in front of his own house. And those kind of things are, maybe they're messages, or maybe this is just a guy who's got no cares in the world about what he was doing, doesn't care, he's heartless, and he's just going to take the guy out. There's more questions than there are answers in this situation.
And is that because
the
victim had his thumb in so many pies here? Because it sounds like he's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at this from the outside in. Homicide investigators have a lot of different leads that they're tracking. It's been almost a week now. But I think the fact that he was involved in so many different things creates so many different potential motives for the murder.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the people who are around him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he surrounded himself with people, did a good thing for someone, hired Angelo Lutz as soon as Angelo came out of jail. Probably the only guy who would give Angelo Lutz a break. Gave him a break and hired him.
Yeah, I mean, Angelo Lutz was the bookkeeper at the tow truck auto body shop. That's what he was doing there. That was his job. And Angelo says, nobody else would hire me. This guy gave me a shot. He's a good-hearted guy. At the same time, if Angelo Lutz is there, if another associate of George Borghese, the mobster, is there, investigators are going to look at that and say, is there a connection to organized crime and what this guy was doing? At this point, we don't know of any connection, but that's certainly a question that investigators will ask. You almost have to ask that question.
All right, and the associate, to my knowledge, has made visits to see Borghese in prison and then come back. And I've been told he's been tailed before by either the state police or the Attorney General's office. So there seems to be some attention, at least in that area.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that Borghese, even in jail, is a person of interest. I mean, he showed up in the Delco Nostra investigation. He's the nephew of mob boss Joe Lagambi. Anybody that goes to visit George Borghese is going to get up on the radar of law enforcement. So while Lutz doesn't have any association because he's on probation, this other individual, who we're not going to name, did go down and visit and is a guy that they've been paying attention to. Sure.
Okay. Let's talk about this case aside. A lot of guys are saying, this wasn't a mob hit right off the bat, has nothing to do with the mob, things like that. But if you look at the recent scenarios surrounding what are believed to be mob hits, this fits right in. Long John Martirano got in his car in the alley behind his house, was shot right there. Ended up on Spruce Street trying to drive himself to the hospital. There were others right in their home.
Johnny Casasanto, literally in his house. Again, it's a kind of situation where, you know somebody's pattern, or they let you into your house into their house, and then you take them out. Those are two examples of mob hits that are similar, at least in the way they were carried out to this one. But again, we can't emphasize enough. We don't know if this was a mob hit.
Right.
It has the earmarks of a mob hit. It looks like a mob hit, but until we know who was the shooter and why it went down, you can't really say.
And right in the guy's neighborhood, right in the heart of South Philadelphia, Wolfen, Colorado, right in there, there's mob guys who live a couple of blocks away from there.
Yeah, I mean, we're downtown South Philadelphia. There's a lot of wise guys down there. But again, the situation is there are more questions than answers. Clearly, this was an intentional hit. They wanted to take this guy out. The number of shots fired indicated they were there to take this guy out. The shooter was there to assassinate Rocco Maniscalco.
Right. And the message here is, when you shoot somebody to that extent and kill them in front of their own home, what's the message, no matter who it came from?
Well, it's that you don't care. You're in their face, and in a lot of ways, it looks like retribution for something he did. To do it that heartlessly, if you want. I mean, it's an indication that you did something to me and I'm paying you back. This is payback. I don't care who else it hurts.
And I'll come right into your neighborhood and do it, correct?
Yeah, it's a total disrespect kind of thing, sure.
All right, George, finally, this murder has multiple sets of eyes on it. A lot of law enforcement people looking at this.
Yeah, I think there's no secret. Obviously, homicide is looking, but the feds are interested. If, in fact, this came from the mob, the feds would be very interested. That remains to be seen. But when you've got that many people looking, a lot of times you're going to get to a conclusion a lot quicker.
Okay, that's it for Mob Talk this week. We'll see you next week.
Tonight's Crime Fighters Report.
Rocco Maniscalco's family says in the 13 years that he's been gone, he's missed so many milestones.
He missed out on our older daughter's wedding, like 5 years ago. He's missing out on a grandbaby. He's missing out on graduations.
His wife, Danielle Romanoff, and their daughter asked us to blur their faces. Romanoff says on Wednesday, June 9th, 2010, the two of them went to a nearby bar along the 1700 block of Wolf Street in South Philadelphia to watch a Flyers playoff game. She says in the early morning hours of June 10th, Maniscalco took a call outside.
He was like, "Stay here, I'll be back." And the bar literally right at the corner of my house.
At 1:20 a.m., police were called for reports of a shooting. When they arrived, they found Maniscalco suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
He got shot a lot. It was most of his chest area, his legs.
The 38-year-old died from his injuries.
He had his money still on him, his keys. He had everything still on him. It definitely wasn't a robbery.
The city of Philadelphia is offering up to $20,000 in reward money for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible. All you have to do is call the Citizens Crime Commission at 215-546-TIPS. All calls will remain anonymous.
We need answers. We need closure. We need to know who did this and why they did it.
For Crime Fighters, I'm Rick Williams. For Action News at 10, on PHL 17.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.